Okay, welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we'll be talking about computer network infrastructure. So, what is computer networking? So, just like human beings do, computers also have a way of interacting with each other. And then, like for human beings too, our ways of interactions are guided by several rules. Some of them is we like to interact at places where there's less noise, so people will be audible enough. And then we like to use a language that is common to both parties so that we can carry out the message that we want to carry out. And then we also tend to ask for clarification where necessary. So just like human beings, computers too are the same. They also have their own set of rules that govern their interactions. And for computers, this defined set of standards that they must follow in order to communicate properly is called a protocol. So what we'll be learning about, we'll be learning about computer networking basically, which refers to the full scope of how computers interact with each other. So basically the ups and downs involved in computers interacting with each other is what we term as computer networking. So there are basically a lot of models and theories that govern this operation by computers. And then in this lesson, we'll be tackling one main model, which we call the TCP/IP 5-layer model. And by the end of this study, we expect that you'll be able to explain all 5 layers in the TCP/IP model, know how computers are able to determine where to send their messages, and then also know some common computer networking devices. So how do computers know where to send their messages? So that leads us to the theory of IP addresses. So every computer or every device on a network has a unique address that we call the IP address. So the IP address is usually a series of numbers that are separated by dots or colons, and they identify a particular item on a network. So when a message is sent, the message basically comes with the sender's IP address and then also the IP address of the destination. So it's the destination IP address that is used to identify where the message is supposed to be sent to. And since this IP address is unique to every device, no single device have like a common IP address. So therefore it makes sending messages appropriate because messages tend to get to the destination where they are supposed to be sent to. However, there are certain IP addresses that are used for broadcasting, that are used for like sending messages to multiple people. Yeah. So examples of these IP addresses is the 8.8.8.8, which is google.com's main IP address.
Okay, taking on, we are talking about the TCP or IP layer. TCP or IP stands for Transmission Control Protocol or Internet Protocol, and is a suite of communication protocols used to interconnect network devices on the Internet. TCP or IP uses client-server model of communication in which a user or a machine is provided a service, like sending a web page by another computer, a server in the network. So there are 5 layers of the TCP or IP model. Starting with, we have the application layer, which provides application for standardized data exchange. Its protocols include the HTTP, the FTP, and many others. Again, we have the transport layer, which is responsible for maintaining end-to-end communication across the network. In the third point, we have the network layer, which is also called the internet layer, which deals with packets and connect independent networks to transport the packets across the networks. The network boundaries. We also have the physical layer, also known as the network interface layer, which consists of protocols that operate only on a link, the network components that interconnect nodes or hosts on this network. The data layer or network interface is the protocol layer that transfers data between nodes on a network segment across the physical layer.
So in this section, we are going to discuss data link layer from the computer network. So what we are going to do, our agenda for today, is to have you explain what a data link layer does, identify examples of data link protocols, define the functions of data link layer, and explain data link sub-layers. In the next slide, what is a data link layer? Now, a data link layer is the protocol layer in a program that handles the moving of data into and out of a physical link in a network. The data link layer is second in the OSI and first and the last in the ITP. So examples of data link layer protocols. We have the Ethernet. We have the Ethernet, which is a protocol of data link, point-to-point protocol, and HDLC, with diagrams illustrating these protocols. Now, the function of a data link is categorized. So one is it provides service interface to the network layer. The data link also deals with transmission errors when there is a clash in sending messages across the network. The data link regulates the data flow and also slows receivers, not swamped by fast senders. In this slide, we are looking at data link layer sub-layers. The data link layer sub-layers are two. We have the logical link control sub-layer. Now, the logical link control sublayer is the uppermost protocol, and it runs at the top and provides flow control, acknowledgement, and error notification in the network. The LLC provides addressing and controls of data link. It specifies which mechanisms are to be used for addressing stations over the transmission medium and for controlling the data exchange between the originator and recipient machine. The next sublayer is Media Access Control Sublayer, MAC in short. The MAC refers to the sublayer that determines who is allowed to have access to the media at any one time.
To build a strong network and defend it, you need to understand the devices that comprise it. What are network devices? Simply, network devices are physical devices that are required for communication and interaction between hardware on a computer network. Switches, routers, and wireless access points are the essential networking basics. Through them, devices connected to your network can communicate with one another and with other networks like the internet. So from this essential networking basics, we have several types of networking devices, such as the hub, the switch, the router, the bridge, the gateway, modem, repeater, access points. Let's talk about a switch. A switch acts as a controller connecting computer, printers, and servers to a network in a building. What are routers in? Routers connect multiple networks together. An access point allows device to connect to the wireless network without cables. So as we said earlier, example of networking devices are the hub, the switch, the router, the bridge, gateway, modem, repeater, and access point. Having a strong understanding of the type of network devices available can help you design and build a network that is secure and serve your organization well. Thank you. There will be an assessment at the end. So these are some of the network devices.